A lot of holly trees and holly bushes around here lost their leaves as a result of the extreme cold this winter. And the question then becomes, what now? So I've got here a Centennial Girl holly. I think I purchased this at Home Depot. And you can see all the leaves are down here on the ground. And actually, no, this didn't come from Home Depot, although you can get them there. This one came from treecenter.com, I believe, the Tree Center. Anyway, it lost its leaves, and it's a hybrid holly. So the way you check this is to scrape the branch with your fingernail there, and you see we've got only brown under there, meaning this branch is dead. But if I move further down the tree here, you can see just from looking at it, there's a little green, and there's a spot over here where I scratched it. And you see that little bit of green right there. That means this branch is still alive. So probably the most extreme tips of the branches might have died, but the holly tree itself is still fundamentally alive. The roots are alive, so it should leaf back out from the live branches in the spring. So I'm going to leave that one there. This was Centennial Girl. By the way, a lot of these hollies are hybrids, so they have these commercial names like Centennial Girl, but I will let you know what the species are when it's a pure species. This one is a hybrid of Chinese hollies. Here's another hybrid holly, hybrid English and Chinese hollies again. This is the Liberty Holly. There are a lot of them planted around here. And on the top branches up here, we can do our little test again, probably easier in the shade. Let's see here. Looks pretty brown. And yeah, there's a spot there that shows brown when I scratch it. If I move further down the tree, this one almost looks green here. But what happens when I scratch it? Oh, it just broke right off, so it's dead there too. Is there any life at all left on the Liberty Holly? Maybe check the trunk here. Let's see. Yeah, I would say there's some green there. So I think the main trunk is still alive on the Liberty Holly, but there are a lot of dead branches on it. I will leave it just to see what happens. But Liberty Holly has got some ilex latifolia, I believe, which is a southern Chinese holly, as one of the admixtures to the hybrid, and that's probably one of the least cold hardy hybrid components you can have in a holly. So Liberty Holly probably going to be slightly less cold tolerant than Centennial Girl. Let's keep looking. All right, this one is the Dragon Lady Holly. I know for a fact I got this one from Home Depot. And by the way, that Liberty Holly did come from the treecenter.com. So Home Depot, Dragon Lady. You can also get these from the treecenter.com. The top branches, the very top right here, let's see. Kind of green right off the bat there. I'm guessing the Dragon Lady fared a lot better than most. And let's see about a little side branch here. Yep, green right there in that little spot. Focus. There we go, kind of hard to focus on it. You get the idea. If you scratch the branch and there's green underneath the thin bark of the holly, you're doing good. And I'm guessing most of them will be just fine. They'll probably leaf back out. But what if you say, I don't even want to wait for them to leaf back out. Give me a holly that can handle cold weather. Well, there are also some options for that too. This holly was in the ground during the extreme cold weather, and this is how it looks after all that. For the most part green, maybe a little death at the tip of the branch there. This is the Dahoon Holly, ilex cassine, from North America, grows in the southern states. But obviously it can handle cold temperatures just fine. And so can a bunch of other hollies that are hybridized with it. Let's check another one. By the way, this one came from the shop.arborday.org, I believe, but you can also get them sometimes from mail order natives. Now here's one I have not put in the ground yet. I just got this from wilsonbrothersgardens.com, but had it been in the ground, it also would have done very well. This is the regular American holly, ilex opaca. And this one and the one I just showed you, ilex cassine, they can become small to medium-sized trees. I'm going to plant this one somewhere semi-shade, mostly sun, but a little bit of shade. and that'll help it out a little bit. So there can also be a hybrid between the ilex cassine and the ilex opaca. Let me show you that. This is a Savannah Holly, which is a hybrid between the Dahoon and the American Hollies, and it would also handle cold weather very well because both of the hybrid components are pretty cold tolerant. And this came from WilsonBrothersGardens.com. I think you can also get Savannah Holly on thetreecenter.com. And there are a couple of different varieties of hybrids between these two species. There's another one called Foster's Holly, so you can see that one out there somewhere. I think I saw that on Arbor Day as well at one point, and other places. And there may be other hybrids as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. Foster's number 1, Foster's number 2. They're different varieties. There are several Fosters growing around here that I have inspected after the hard freeze, and they haven't really taken much damage at all. So I would say confirmed Foster's Holly, Dahoon Holly, American Holly are going to be good. Also, I don't have one right now, although it is an order. There is a ilex glabra, the Inkberry Holly. That would also be cold tolerant, and there are several different varieties of that. So check for ilex glabra. I'll put that in the description. And also, let's take a look at one more holly. There's actually not a North American hybrid. This is the Nellie Stevens. So that's going to be a hybrid between the English holly Ilex aquifolium and the Chinese holly Ilex cornuta. This one lost a few leaves. There's a little browning here and there, but you can see on the whole it held up pretty well in that cold weather. So Nellie Stevens holly was probably going to be one of the most widely available hollies that you can get your hands on. Pretty much Lowe's, Home Depot, every one of them is going to have it. Every nursery should have Nellie Stevens, including up to some large sizes. And of course, if you want to order online, there'll be no shortage of places you can find Nellie Stevens holly. This one also gets large, probably a little more dense and shrub-like than the tree form hybrid hollies from the American Holly and the Dahoon Holly. So if you want something more bushy, dense, maybe the Nellie Stevens is a good choice. But if you're willing to have something that can eventually turn into basically a tree, then the native North American hollies, like American Holly, Ilex cassine. Now, the Ilex glabra, the Inkberry, most of the cultivars out there in the market are dwarf, bushy varieties, but sometimes you can find the straight species, Ilex glabra, which can form a small tree. So that's basically my strategy when it comes to hollies, is wait and see on the weak ones and also increase my stock of cold tolerant hollies. There's one more to mention, and that is the Blue Princess and Blue Prince hollies. Those are hollies you can usually find at Lowe's and Home Depot, and those are also extremely cold tolerant, possibly even more so than the American Holly and the Dahoon Holly. So those are going to be bushes, not real trees, pretty slow growing and low growing for the most part. So if you want height and fast growth, probably go for a Foster Holly if you can find one, or a Savannah Holly in this case.